Karen.
Yes.
You are not going to believe who we've got on the show today.
Who do we have?
She's an internationally celebrated psychic medium,
Ooh.
a spiritual teacher, and get this, she won Psychic of the Year 2 years in a row.
Well, I didn't even know there was a Psychic of the Year. That's awesome.
2 years in a row,
Wow.
Karen. Yeah. Oh, and she also got an activism award for helping animals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like how much more awesome can one person get, right?
That's pretty awesome.
What she actually is going to excite you even more. She is an ascension alchemist. Isn't that exciting?
It is, and I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. What? It sounds so woo, or maybe whoa. I don't know.
And ascendi.
Well, she mentors and guides others through processes of healing, releasing karmic patterns, activating their innate spiritual gifts.
Nice.
She's a psychic channel that channels wisdom from the higher realms with messages for humanity. She uses tools like visualization, intention, and quantum energy, and her book is all about co-creating a reality that aligns with someone's soul purpose.
Nice.
In addition to understanding the collective evolution.
Ooh.
Yep. And one of her gifts is that of a catalyst, awakening others to their divine potential and intuitive abilities.
So maybe she can help us.
Maybe she can help you, because I don't have nothing. It sounds like you're getting excited.
I am getting very excited.
Well, get ready for an episode filled with wisdom, laughs, and maybe even a few aha moments as we welcome the one and only Jill M. Jackson to the show. Don't go anywhere. The Skeptic Metaphysicians starts now.
My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything.
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians.
Hey there, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
And today's guest is none other than Jill M. Jackson. She's better known as the Mississippi Medium. She's an internationally acclaimed psychic, a spiritual teacher, and the award-winning author of the groundbreaking new book, Manifesting Your Magic in the 5D. Now, Jill, she has a gift for making the mystical practical, offering transformative teachings and mind-blowing psychic readings that leave even the biggest skeptics speechless.
Yay.
I totally thought you were about to sneeze, so I had to stop.
No, I was clapping.
Now, in this, her latest book, Jill reveals why the law of attraction doesn't always deliver and introduces us to other spiritual laws that elevate manifestation to a whole new level. Now, she dives deep into the topics like manifesting in the quantum field, the role of past lives and karma in shaping our reality, and how understanding collective consciousness can take our spiritual practices to incredible heights. Jill's own journey is as inspiring as her teachings, and she's here to explain why so-called manifestation failures are actually gifts in disguise, and show us how to harness the magic of 5D consciousness to turn our dreams into our reality. Welcome to the show, Jill M. Jackson. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much, Karen and Will.
Well, we are so excited. I'm very excited now after hearing all of that.
Yes.
to chat with you and to just hear everything you've got to teach us.
I mean, the obvious question right off the bat is exactly what excited us in the teaser intro. What the heck is an ascension alchemist?
That is a great question. So if you understand traditional alchemy, an alchemist transmutes usually metals into gold. So it's one substance into another substance. A spiritual alchemist helps transmute someone that is living in the 3D reality into the 5D reality.
So there's hope for us.
Well, I'm looking at both of your auras, and you are tapped in to the 5D.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's good to know. So what about our auras tell you that?
I can see auras, and they're very clear. When you have an aura of someone that's anchored in the third dimensional reality, it's a darker aura, meaning they have limiting beliefs. they have a lot of anger, fears, things like that. Someone who has laughter, joy, understanding the higher realms, you can see it in their aura.
Okay, so you got me with the laughter and the joy, but I'm not sure about the being in touch with the outer realms, because just because I mean, so some poor person down the road who just loves to laugh a lot, doesn't necessarily mean he's tapped into the 5D, right?
That is very true, very true. However, again, I can look at your aura and it's clear. It has a lot of white into it. You're a lot more tapped in than you think you are, Will.
See, I told you.
Okay. Well, that's good. Then how can I externalize that? Because having it in my aura is cool and all, but I need to be able to touch it and feel it and like really know it.
And that is what I love doing, is teaching people to tap into our God-given intuition. You know, so much of the old paradigm teaches us that it's evil and it's not real and not to pay attention to it. And that's what I love helping people do, breaking out of those old boxes, the chains that hold us back.
So, can you help anybody? You know, we're talking about the people that are really, you know, have the fear and they're ensconced in the 3D. Do they have hope too?
Absolutely. Everybody has hope. Yes.
So, what would, I guess, maybe the first steps be? I mean, when someone comes to you and they're asking for help, like, do you read their aura? How do you start that whole process?
Yeah, I have different offerings. I help people through readings, and then I help people through mentoring. And the reason I wrote my book is because I'm known as somebody that can manifest anything, but I came across something that I was not able to manifest. And it's a long story, and I tell the whole story in my book. But I wanted to go on a quest and find out why I was not able to manifest it when I was following the teachings of the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got my attention because I'm not someone that can manifest very easily. So maybe there's something to this. So
Yes.
what? And I know in the introduction when I did some research into you, I found that you believe that there are that the law of attraction. We all read or watched The Secret, right, when it came out and that whole deal. But you feel that there's something missing from that whole equation. So what is it? What are we missing?
Yes, there was actually a lot missing. I do give a lot of accolades to the original teachings of the law of attraction, and it actually goes back to Blavatsky many, many years ago, but it was made famous with the teachings of The Secret. And what happens is that's only one spiritual law. And if what we're trying to manifest is not in alignment with our soul contract, we are not going to be successful in manifesting what we thought we want. And to remember the song Unanswered Prayers by Garth Brooks, it's a country song. There's a lot to that.
So what do you mean there's a lot to that, unanswered prayers?
Okay. Yes. So a lot of times we as humans think we want to manifest something that is not in alignment with our original soul contract. Before we are born, before we incarnate, we meet with our spirit guides and we come up with a plan, just kind of like an architect has a blueprint to build a house. It's the same with our life. And we work on our challenges, the people we're going to meet, the karma, the past lives, all of it is packaged together, so to speak. And when we're born, a lot of times we forget that. And especially with a lot of the dogma. And we're programmed over time not to pay attention to our knowings. There's so many gifted kids out there that see angels, that see the spirit world, that know things before they're going to happen. And the adults in their life sadly tell them that it's not real. And so over time, they stop believing in the magic. And what I love helping people do is get to know the core of what your purpose is on the planet.
Okay, so then if you're coming here, if your soul contract, the plan that you made, the blueprint you made before you incarnated on this planet, said you will not have a Lamborghini. No matter how much you manifest that Lamborghini, you're only going to get a Matchbox car. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. So think about it, how boring life would be if everybody was driving around with a Lamborghini and everybody was driving around with a red Lamborghini. That's not what life is about. We actually have the most soul growth through our challenges. If you think about it, if you think about the challenges in your life, that's when we learn the most.
All right. Well, then I'm going to have a talk with my spirit guides because I did not sign on to having nothing on this time around.
Yeah, how do you reconcile that? You know, if someone is just trying so hard to live a good life and lead a good life, and maybe they just want something simple like, I don't know, a healthy marriage, and they can't get that, but they're a good person. Like, how do they become okay with it just not being part of their soul contract?
Well, that is a great question. And 95% of the people do have a contract to meet, a soul contract. But what happens is when we have not done our own inner work, our shadow work, to understand our vibration, and let's say we're vibrating in a place of fear, and you're on that hamster wheel of, oh, all men are terrible, and I'll never meet anybody, and they're on and on and on, then that's what you're going to attract into your life. There's a spiritual law called the spiritual law of vibration and the spiritual law of action. So our thoughts truly do have an impact. Our words have an impact. So the key is to do our work, get our vibration high, and it's like a magnet. Then we start meeting those people who are like-minded and can serve our soul purpose right along with us.
Okay, I think we need to take a step back and dive into those laws because I would have assumed that those were all kind of going together, right? So what is the difference between the law of attraction, the law of vibration, and the law of action?
Great question. Okay, so it does start with the law of attraction, meaning what we want to manifest, we do want to start speaking it. But we can't just sit in a lotus position in our houses waiting for that to happen.
Why not? Okay.
All right. So when we start researching and we start diving into what brings us joy, that triggers the universe. That is the spiritual law of action that sends out a vibration or a signal, if you will, into the universe.
You got that?
I did. And that's, we hear that a lot. You have to, manifesting isn't just thinking about wanting it. You have to actually work for it.
Take action.
Yeah.
Right.
Do something.
So then, so if I wanted to manifest a Lamborghini, my action would be just going to the Lamborghini shop, or no?
Well, that would be part of it. But what happens a lot of time, Will, is that our limiting beliefs tell us that we're never going to get it. So our subconscious mind holds our triggers and our traumas and those limiting beliefs. So that's why I teach people in my book, when you want to manifest, you want to raise your vibration and you're going to the quantum. You're going to the higher dimensions. Because in the higher dimensions, fears and limitations don't exist.
So now, is there a possibility of when you go into the quantum to, I don't know, maybe edit your contract a little bit?
Got a lot of whiteout.
Yes, I teach people to do that. Absolutely. But again, think about someone who had a past life where they manipulated someone. They had a lot of money. They were greedy. They did not share their resources with others. Their soul may have chosen in this lifetime to balance that karma and not have an opportunity to hoard. A lot of people that have had near-death experiences come back from those experiences saying that the Lamborghinis and the Pradas and on and on and on are not truly what life is about.
Right. It's really a Porsche.
It's about the love, Will. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
all right.
Beat you. Oh, wait, that's not very loving, is it?
No, it's
I will
not.
caress the love into you.
Okay, that sounds a little weird.
That does sound weird.
Never mind.
Never
Anyway,
mind.
Miss Jackson, back to you.
I mean, I don't want to necessarily go off topic, but I'm dying to hear about the Psychic of the Year award. Like, what?
But we're right in the middle of
I
the topic.
know.
You can hold your
No,
horses.
are we? But no, we just talked about how you can,
Well,
edit it.
but she's gonna tell us how, right? Because I can imagine you say going to the quantum realm. I do the Doctor Strange thing with the ring and the circle of fire, and you walk through, and you're in this weird world full of triangles and squares and things like that. That's not at all what we're talking about, right? So how does someone go into the quantum realm to white out their mistakes or the things they no longer want in their contract?
Yeah, sometimes it is like that, though.
Oh.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yes.
Okay, sign me up. I'm in. I'm on
okay.
board. I want one of those rings.
Yeah, the first key is meditating and learning mindfulness through yoga or meditation or anything like that. Listening to high vibrational hertz music helps elevate our consciousness. I love 963, 741, 528 hertz.
I'm pretty sure it was 8675309.
You are on fire tonight.
No. So we've talked to people that have we've talked to the people at the Monroe Institute. They do hemisync things, binaural beats, that kind of thing. That's what we're talking about. It's changing by listening to certain frequencies, changes our vibrational rate, and that gets us to a level. So then you're saying we shouldn't ask for Lamborghini until we are at hemisync level, until we are high vibing.
Well, the first key is finding out if that's really going to bring you joy in the first place. Now, if you're wanting a Lamborghini because you're trying to impress the neighbors, then that's not in alignment with your soul. But if you're wanting a car because you enjoy the luxury and you have fun with it, then absolutely manifest that.
Okay. So your intentions have to be in the right place in order for it to align.
Pure, yes, pure intentions. Heart space.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely.
Any more questions about manifestation before we go to the Psychic Medium of the Year award?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Ask you a question.
I gotta know. No,
Okay.
I just want to know. So how did you win that? Like, did you have to do a test? Did people just rate you? How did that work?
Yeah, great question. Just to be part of Best American Psychics, you have to have 2 blind readings. So the person doesn't even know who they're going to read. Less than 10% of the people are accepted in to Best American Psychics. I think there's less than 100 of us in the country. And within that, each year, they award Psychic of the Year. And it's based on accuracy. It's based on helping your fellow colleagues. There's a lot of different areas that they rate you in.
So is it the same person that everybody reads to see if they get the same answers, or like are they holding up cards and saying, what's on the other side of this card?
No, it's just blind readings. That's just to get into the organization. So in other words, the person that's trying to get in gets a phone call from a random person. You don't know their name, you don't know who they are, and you have to give them a reading. And you have to do that twice. So it's a tested organization.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Boy,
awesome.
that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
And so then once you get in, how does the I mean, I guess it's not really a competition, but it kind of is if you are the best one. Is it a competition? Like, how does that work?
And as a psychic, you would know that you were going to win before you got into it, right?
Well, she knew.
That's the question we get asked all the time. Why haven't we won the lottery? But again, that's not what it's about. Psychics have our own challenges as well. I tell my husband, when I get these downloads, listen to them because they don't come all the time. But when my guides need me to know something, it's like a dictation that I hear in my head.
So you're clairaudient, is that it?
I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, claircognizant, clairsentient. I have all of the clairs.
You are full of C's.
Full of C's.
So does it sound like your own thought, or does it sound like a totally different voice?
Totally different voice.
Wow. That must have been intense the first time that happened.
Yeah, it doesn't freak you out at all?
Well, when I was a child, I couldn't hear them. I could only see them. And that did freak me out.
Better, yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, what are all these random people doing in my house?
Right.
Oh my
And to make matters, I don't know what's worse, but more challenging or more interesting is that you were born a Southern Baptist in the Mississippi, right? So this was
Yes.
I don't want to say what it is, but how did you get beyond that? And then how was your family feeling about all this stuff?
Well, I wrote an entire book about that one too, called Mississippi Medium, From Southern Baptist to Talking to the Dead.
Oh my goodness.
Because yes, that was a whole story in itself. But thankfully my mother was a medium and my dad is highly intuitive. So it was supported.
Well, that's good. That's good. But your community, I'm sure it must have been difficult growing up in Mississippi as a psychic.
Yes, only one of my friends knew about my gifts. It was not something that I broadcast. I call it coming out of the psychic closet, and I finally did that, I think, in my 30s. It took a while.
Are you still in Mississippi or did you move elsewhere?
I escaped, and then I'm back. I've been back for
Oh, you're
the past
back.
8 years.
Just when you thought you could escape, they brought you.
They pulled you back. Well, they needed her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
So I
yes.
guess you were drawn there because that's where the work is.
That's very true, yeah.
Yes, it's kind of the last frontier.
Oh, well. So you speak a lot about the collective consciousness, the importance of understanding that in order to help. Well, back to manifesting again a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Well, if we think about the things that hold us back, it's our ego and our fears, right? We all have that voice that comes in and tries to tell us, who do you think you are? You're not going to be able to be successful in that, and on and on and on. That is the subconscious, and it holds our traumas. And that's part of what I love doing, is helping people break free from that. And getting into the quantum, none of that exists in that realm.
So is that
So
what do you mean by, is that what you mean by the importance of the interconnectedness of all beings?
Yes, because part of the limiting beliefs is, it's kind of like you asked earlier, is it a competition? There's actually enough for everyone. There's enough abundance. It's a third dimensional thought process, thinking that there's a limited amount of money. There's a limited amount of food and water and resources and awards and on and on and on. So when we can get out of that limiting thought process into the quantum, I use a term, life, limitless information for everyone, and we're tapped into the collective consciousness, and that's how the wisdom comes in. Yes, it's so exciting.
Wow, that really is incredible. Oh, so for you in your experience, do you have to like focus and tap in, or do the downloads just come? Are they always happening?
Great question too. For a while, they came all the time, and I trained with some of the best psychics and mediums in the world. I went to the UK. I trained in New York, New Jersey, and that was before I opened my own school, because it's important to learn how to shut it down. I liken it to a plug. If you're plugged in all the time, it's going to drain your energy. So I've taught myself to plug in and plug out, or unplug. But when it's me and my guides need me to know something, it just comes in, usually in that 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
I was gonna say, are you getting a message anytime from us?
We hear that a lot. The wee hours, 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Why is that?
Because you're probably like in a weird state of mind, right? Right. Gotcha.
So, what has been one of the downloads that has impacted you the most?
Well, one of them was it was time to move back to Mississippi.
No, say it isn't so. No.
I said, I think you have the wrong person. A different channel.
Can I hang up? Sorry, wrong number.
Exactly. And then recently I was told that it was time to leave. But they haven't told me where I'm going yet.
Oh, I heard Virginia's nice.
No, yeah.
Wow. So, and you just, I guess, I mean, do you have to follow I mean, I guess you don't have to move,
Well,
but
because
then would
then
life be hard?
It's a 2x4. Don't forget.
Yeah, it's the spiritual law of free will. We always have free will, and our guides will not interfere with our free will. But again, remember that they're looking at our soul contract and they're helping us. And I have given them permission to bring these downloads in. So I've learned to listen.
Gotcha.
Wow. So you give them permission. I like that. They don't just like bombard you.
Yeah.
Right. And they won't either.
So how do you make the initial contact with your guides?
Meditation. And sometimes it takes a while. And it's kind of like getting to know anybody else. People think that they're going to go into this one meditation and, you know, like you said, the triangles and the colors and the fireworks and all of that. It's normally not like that. It's a slow process to get to know them.
Okay. Well, if someone wanted to read your book or get a reading from you or something like that, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
www.jilljmjackson.com. And my books are on my website and they're on Amazon. And then my readings are on there as well.
And your books are Manifesting Your Magic in the 5D. And then you said you had another one about being a psychic medium in a Southern Baptist upbringing. What was that one?
Yes. And that's just kind of my memoir. It talks about some of the experiences I've had. I've had experiences with Michael Jackson. I've worked with a lot of missing persons, a lot of law enforcement. I'm working on some cases right now. Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
Wow, that is very cool.
Great.
And that's amazing that law enforcement believe in are willing to kind of take that step and reach out to you.
Yeah, most aren't.
Yeah, like it's got to be the last ditch resort, you know.
Yeah.
I might know a guy.
So hopefully soon that'll start to change and it won't be, you know.
Hopefully soon, yeah. Wow. So is there any last message you want to make sure that the folks listening in or watching right now will get from you?
Just remember our divinity and our sovereignty. You know, there's a lot of chaos going on in the world right now. And one of the messages that our loved ones tell me is to laugh more, to play more, to remember that childlike nature. And I think that's a great message.
Absolutely.
That might be why I'm tied to the 5D, because I'm just like a child. Well, Jill, we're going to add links directly to your website in our show notes. So if you don't have a pen at the moment and you know what to do, you go to skepticmetaphysician.com. You can go to her episode page. You'll see the links laid out there directly for you. So it's easy for you to reach out to Jill. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Hopefully, you'll get the message as to where you're going to be going to anytime now, and maybe we'll meet down the road somewhere, because
That would be great.
we like to travel. So,
Yes, absolutely.
all right, Jill.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you on the show,
Thank you.
Thank you both.
and a huge thank you to you. Okay, so
all right.
we were just about you had a message that was coming for you. You want to
Something
tell
about
us about?
Yeah, I see a European connection, and I feel like there's something coming with France and also Italy. I don't know if you've been to either one of those places yet. Have you been to both?
Yes, we actually are avid travelers. We were just in France and Spain this past summer, actually.
Okay. And have you already recorded an episode from there?
No, we hadn't thought of that. But that,
There's-
full
there's-
disclosure, I broke my ankle while I was there, so I wasn't in the best frame of mind. But
Okay.
do you see that happening?
Yeah, I see some kind of, they're showing me like this bridge. It's an international bridge, which kind of shows me more opportunities coming. And Italy's really highlighting for me.
I love Italy.
Yeah.
I was there for a while to learn cooking classes and to learn the language. So it's like a place that feels like home to me.
Yeah, you have a past life there. And that you actually have a past life together there in Sicily.
Oh,
Sicilian.
Wow.
Ooh.
Is that connected to Italy? I'm horrible with
Yeah,
geography.
it's part of Italy.
it's an island off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I heard that.
very cool.
Wow.
Well, longtime listeners will know that we are actually working on a project that we just launched not long ago, as a matter of fact, that connects us with the entire world. And we do have some. We just interviewed someone, or were interviewed by someone from Portugal. So we have a lot of European connections on this.
Beautiful, and it's going to keep expanding.
Excellent.
Oh, yay.
And then there's a small dog and spirit around. Which one of you had the small dog?
When I was growing up, we had a small dog.
Yeah. I was going to just say that from way, way back.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you know what it looked like? You know what kind of dog it was?
It looks to be about 12 to 15 pounds. Like it's kind of a fluffy.
Is it white?
It's light color. I don't see it as white.
Okay. So I'm wondering if it was our. Oh my God! I forgot the name of that type of dog that we had.
Oh, the one we met?
Yeah.
The one that you had?
Yeah.
You had two. You had the little tiny poodle,
Yeah, not that one.
and then the other one that was some
Yes.
sort of a terrier.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
the one I'm
it's
talking about.
like a light brown.
Yes. He was light brown. Lance.
Yes.
Lancelot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So-
he's like jumping around behind you there.
Oh my gosh.
That would explain my backache.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. All right. So then, do you suggest we go back to Europe this summer?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Because
it.
again, that's anchoring that energy that I was talking about earlier.
Awesome.
All right. And we actually have
Yes,
friends who
yes.
just moved to Spain, so we do need to go out there.
We do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like Italy.
Yeah. And we're going to take our stuff.
You were just looking for a house in Italy.
I was just online looking for houses in Italy.
Are we moving to Italy?
Really? You may be.
We're moving to Italy, baby.
Oh, that would make me so happy.
Yeah.
We're doing
yeah.
episodes from Italy because we're going to be living there.
I've got full blown chills right now. There's a lot coming around that.
Very famous Ponte Vecchio.
Ponte
The
Vecchio,
old
yes,
bridge.
of course.
That's like so beautiful.
Oh my gosh. You
that's
just
exciting.
made our
Exciting.
day completely.
Yes.
Awesome. How quickly?
2 years.
2 years, moving to Italy in 2 years. Okay.
It,
All right,
it feels
I'm in.
like there's a possibility for that.
All right. So we got to go to
Maybe
summer.
months.
We got to go there this summer.
scope it out.
Right? And then, so in preparation for us moving in 2 years.
Perfect.
That means Sienna's going to have to find an international school
That's
in
okay.
Italy. We'll do that. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
that was
you.
probably the best possible reading you could have ever given us. So
Yes.
thank you for
Oh, beautiful. It was my pleasure.
that. All right.
Really appreciate
Have a
it.
beautiful night.
We hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we have. If you did and you feel called to give back, we invite you to visit our website at skepticmetaphysician.com, where you can donate to the show or subscribe as a member through our Buy Me a Coffee campaign. Your support will go a long way towards allowing Karen and I to bring you these wonderful conversations and teachings in more and more robust ways. Well, that's all for now. We will see you on the next episode of the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Until then, take care.